What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another Scuttlebutt with Ivy's Family Factotum. So I'm actually sitting over here, sitting on my steps on my back porch. And, well, I guess it is mine, but it's not mine yet because we can't move in yet. So, what's going on today? Well, today we actually went and, well, for one, ran out of propane last night. And it got down into the upper 20s, lower 30s last night. And yeah, it got a little cold. The girls, they actually have an electric heater in their room. But for the RV, we can only plug in one heater at a time because basically every single plug is all on one circuit. Why they did that, I don't know. But I had, whenever the RV was in the other location, had ran an extension cord from the service pole, and like I had made an extension cord that kind of permanently goes through the slide. Well, not permanently, I can take it out, but I have to disassemble the cord because it's one of the flat, type electrical lines that normally is in your house, right? So it allowed me to slip it underneath the little rubber piece and stuff. And anyway, the girls had heat. They were fine. Gladys and I, we just bundled up in some more clothes, which I hate sleeping in clothes. I do. I hate it with a passion. And then a few blankets and such. And we were fine. I actually was hot last night. And I could tell Gladys kept getting cold because then she'd come get up next to me and to stay warm. And it would just make me even hotter, right? So... but propane is fixed. I went by myself this morning. I woke up before anybody else and headed into town and went and grabbed propane. Well, Dad was awake. He actually helped me load some of the stuff, but I just wanted to take my a little bit of me time, right, and went into town and took care of some stuff. So went and got propane, went and got some PVC for the plumbing, or for the drainage, right? I always say plumbing for everything, but it's drainage, right? So Dad and I, we've already did the water line to an extent. So I'm actually going to go through because people have been, putting a lot of questions, both here and on the main channel of things. And so I was going to kind of take some time to go through those and built to answer that stuff. And I try not to really answer questions on the main channel. That's mainly what the whole point of this channel was for, is to be able to help answer questions, to kind of give a little bit of behind the scenes type stuff, just let you know, hey, this is what's going on, and be able to answer the questions, be able to do mail calls, be able to do any of those types of things, right? That's the whole reason why I wanted to create the Scuttlebutt with IFF, which if you're new here and you actually don't know what Scuttlebutt means, it's a Navy term of the watering hole or a rumor mill, right? It's, I guess back in the olden days of the sailing ships, right? The water jug or container that they used, the cask or barrel, whatever you want to call it, right? That was filled with water or grog or just any of those things. It was called the Scuttlebutt. And a lot of times, whenever you're taking a break or whatever for your water, and you're drinking and you're doing those things, that's also the time that sailors get together to tell sea stories or sea rumors or any of those things, right? And that too is called Scuttlebutt. So that's why we named this Scuttlebutt. Not that I'm doing rumors or anything. It's just, we're sitting around the watering hole and we're having a conversation. So, but yes, we're going to continue working on the water line. So everything that we're doing right now is only for getting stuff ready to be able to come out of where the skirting would be. Okay, so we're on a deadline for them to come and install the skirting. They can't do that until all the utilities are finished underneath the house. Now, does that mean that it has to be completely done, connected to the service? No. As long as it's outside of the home, they can come do the skirting, and then we can continue doing what we need to do to hook that stuff up. All right, so obviously the biggest thing with the tank behind me, I don't even know if you can see it. You should be able to see it. But to dig that big hole, right, either we can take a few days and do it by hand with rain coming, that would really stink, or we have to wait around, you know, for folks to be able to come help. Well, they got stuff going on, right? It's that they've actually had some pretty big blows, you know, right there at the end of the year, and it's understandable. We fully understand that. Hey, you know, take care of your business to what you need to take care of. Don't forget about us, you know, because I do need your help. I do, without you know, having to break the bank. And that's one of the questions that someone had asked was, actually, let me go down here and I'll actually say for verbatim, you know, I don't want to quote anybody. And this was actually coming from Cheryl. And it says, why don't you rent a walk-behind ditch digger for the water lines? Seems like it would be cheaper and easier than a huge backhoe. So, yes, that we actually were going to do a walk-behind. So, for one, this area has a lot of rocks. So, actually, let me take you off the stand. We'll kind of flip you around, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you see rocks, right, a lot of rocks. So just this ditch right here that I did by hand, 12 feet maybe, give or take. These are some of the size rocks that's coming out of that, just in that little bit. Okay, now to go from where we're doing our water line, which is here, not done yet, and I have more questions I'll answer on this. All right, comes down to a 90 right here, still underneath the house. It's going to go down 18 inches, come over about 2 feet, and then I'm going to put in a valve box right here with a valve. And then from here at the valve box, it's going all the way that way, all the way to, basically that stump has to come out, right? So that's one stump has to come out, two stumps have to come out, and this trench has to go all the way over there, which is measured it out to be like pretty close to 100 something feet. Okay, now yes, I can always trench around that, but out of that 100 feet, I already know I'm going to be hitting a lot of roots. I'm going to be hitting a lot of rocks, because for one, it also goes right through where this big stump that Dad and I dug out by hand, right? It's going right through there. So with that being said, I looked into renting a trencher to see how much it would be. That trencher is $239 for the weekend. So that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it has to be back at a certain time Monday morning. Okay? And with that being said, a trencher can't dig a big hole for a septic tank. So I reached out to Gumby, and so that's Gary and Mary over at Junk to Gems. Reach out to them and I said, hey, you know, would you guys be able to give us a hand with digging some stumps up, digging a hole for the septic, and then running a trench, you know, for the water line? And they said, yeah, that's not a problem, you know, but they're taking care of some family business first, taking care of some of the things that they needed to be taken care of, and then we're going to schedule for him to be able to come out here. Okay, so with that being said, I'm paying for that tractor to come out here, and I'm also paying for their fuel. So I've already been quoted $200 for him just to bring the tractor here, and then whatever it's going to cost for fuel. So if I was going to pay for $239 for a trencher that can only do one of those things, or I can pay the same amount basically, or maybe just a little bit more, and then I can get that buried in, I can get the stumps taken out and a trench for the water line, I'm just going to spend that money once. And that's the reason why we're not doing a walk-behind trencher. Okay? So, thank you for your question, though. It is greatly appreciated. Now, let's see. What was the other thing? Stephen Kennedy says, Anson, did you get the 4-inch with the 2-inch tees for your drops from the sinks, or are they above the floor? So this home, everything plumbing wise, so I don't know if I've ever actually showed you guys like completely underneath the house. I don't know if you can see it very well, but we can kind of come under here. So if you actually look at this right here, right, this is all insulation. It's like an R32, I think, on the bottom side of the house. So nice thick insulation. It's all encapsulated. So, and this is all the way underneath the entire house. So anything that is coming down, right, like electrical, stub outs. So they have stub outs for electrical here, and then stub outs for the plumbing that I've already showed you. So everything is plumbed. Everything goes to those 2 stub outs. So anything for the sinks, showers, toilets, any of that stuff is all going to those 2 drop downs for the stub out, and we just connect to those 2 things. So it makes it easy. I like it. Now with that, I'm going to be doing a main drain line, a 4-inch, and I'm actually doing schedule 40, so it's a little bit thicker plastic. I'm not doing that real thin plumbing stuff. I've always been at the type of person that I'd rather spend the extra money to get a better quality product and do it once, instead of getting the cheap stuff that's really thin and has a chance of breaking, and then I have to repair it over and over and over again, because in the long run it's more expensive doing it that way. So I'd rather be upfront, go ahead and save the money of what I need to save to get the more expensive, higher quality product, and only do it one time, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood. Okay, so with that, so for my stub outs underneath the house, if I look, so there's metal bars that goes across that helps with the main frame of the flooring, that I'm able to put strapping and stuff like that around those metal bars, and then the pipe is going to be hanging from that strapping. Now from this side, back behind where y'all are at, all the way to that side, I need 10 inches of drop, because it's a 40-foot run. I have 5 pieces of schedule 40 4-inch. 4 of those are all going to be connected together, and it's just going to be a straight run. And all of our water stuff is only on this back side, the backside portion of the house. The front half of the house, no water in it whatsoever. There's none. There's no sinks, there's nothing. So it makes it super easy that we don't have to do any type of crossover, right? So that one of the biggest reasons why we picked this floor model, that everything is on this back wall. So with that, we're just bringing that single line coming down. I'm going to start off all the way down here of where I want it to sit, right? Basically on the ground, or I might even start back here, because this one has to go down a certain, because I can't really go up any higher of where it needs to go, but I can go down lower on that side just by attaching another piece of pipe for it to come down, right? So I will be starting back on this side, getting it in there, basically all 40 feet of the pipe of where I need that to sit for this drop down back here. And then I'm going to take the measurements from those crossbars and be able to go, okay, every 4 feet I need it to drop 1 inch, right? So it's every foot is a 1/4 inch. So with that, 40 feet, 10 inches, okay? So I'm gonna take of where my measurement is off of those crossbars, and I'll measure down and say, okay, this is where the top of my pipe needs to be. This is where the top of my next pipe needs to be. This is where, and it's gonna be tied up all the way down. All right, so nope, didn't have to get any tees, didn't have to do any of that other stuff other than that. So from that, the drop down is the 3-inch. Those pipes that are coming out of the house are 3-inch. Those 3-inch are going into a main line that's 4-inch. So that's really all I had to worry about But the only other thing that I needed to get that the store does not have is what's called, it's a flexible rubber piece, right? They're about 4 inches long, 3 inches round. It will connect to that stub out on the bottom of the house, and it allows a little bit of flexibility, okay, of whenever you're trying to attach things. And it's only at that main part of where it's first coming out of the house. It'll be, done into another thing, and then I have, and I've already showed it right on the other video of all the other, basically of how we were doing that, right? Just going into a 90, that 90 goes into a sweeping 90T, okay? And then it allows it to go downhill to the tank. So, thank you, Stephen, for the question. Definitely greatly appreciate it. I know that this one's going to be running a little bit longer than what I normally have done for this, but I did want to get in here and answer some of these questions. Someone even said, you should winterize those pipes so it's not destroyed by the freezing temperatures. Yes, everything will be winterized. We haven't gotten to that point yet. Nothing's even connected. There's no water in the line, so I'm not worried about it getting damaged as of right now, because even where we connected the water, there's a plug that's designated specifically for the heat tapes, right? Nothing else plugs into it. It's just you plug in a heat tape, it goes directly right there to your water line. And that's the reason too that I wanted to do it this way underneath the house instead of the entire width of the house, because now I only need 20 feet, 30 feet at most of heat tape instead of 60 going the other way, right? And it also have all the insulation and stuff on there. So let me go through here quick. Liam had said you need a stake in the ground to attach to protect it. So I don't know if maybe you're talking about where the water line first comes down out of the house, possibly. Well, we might be able to try to put a stake there to kind of help with holding it, but it is inset a foot underneath the house. So, I would have to drive something in at an angle if I'm coming in from outside of the house down, and then still try to be able to attach to it. But I don't know, something we can look into for certain. Then the rest of it is all just good morning, happy new year, happy new year, happy new year type stuff. All right, and then let me get over here, just double check, because I thought there was another question and I just want to double check. Oh, and we did, so obviously we weren't local for the Christmas holiday. We were at my mom and grandma's. And from here on out, I will go ahead and say that the G word that I just put is, so if you've ever watched that movie Encanto, right? They'd say, don't talk about Bruno. Okay, so from here on out, anything involving what we're doing here, moving into the future, we don't talk about G, period. So my mom's still helping out. My mom will be coming at some point, and yada, yada, yada. But that's all I'm ever going to say about that. We don't talk about G. Okay. Yeah, I think that was all the questions. But where I was going with that was Christmas cards. We did get Christmas cards from Deborah and the Vanilla Gorilla, the Gypsy and the Vanilla Gorilla. Thank you, brother. And we got your sticker. So yes, we did get those things in the mail. I picked them up today. Actually, like I said, I had to go by the post office and actually renew our P.O. box that was actually out of date and such, and be able to grab our mail. And that's it. So now we're still waiting on a few more supplies that we need to get this thing completely wrapped up. As soon as that power gets here, that wire should be here next week. I'll get the power connected. We'll get out here. We'll get the HVAC guys out here to get that all done. As soon as I can get all of this done underneath, which the power is probably going to be last. I kind of wanted that to be first. But then they'll be out here doing the skirting. And then once all that's done, we can get the keys to the home and we can start moving in. So boom, I love it. I love it. I love it. We can't wait. So we definitely thank you guys for following in. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Words are hard sometimes, I know. It's greatly appreciated. Share us out, help us grow, hit that thumbs up. And man, what else do I got? That's it. That's all I got for you guys. So definitely get out there. Think of veteran at every chance you get, not only on Veterans Day. And we'll see you on the next one. Later, y'all.